Teachers have from now until mid-June in England or the 25th of June in Scotland to submit this year's GCSE, A-level and higher grades to exam boards. National Association of Head Teachers has told this programme there's been little recognition of the time staff need to do that work, and they say this summer term is proving to be an intense and highly pressured one for school leaders and teachers. Recent polling by YouGov found that a third of teachers plan to leave the profession within 5 years. 1 in every 6 want to go within the next 12 months. Elaine Dunkley has been talking to teachers across the UK about how the extra workload is affecting their mental health.
Okay, so for example tonight I've got a massive folder of about 30 essays, all for English language GCSE. All of these are due to be marked by this time next week, but in the meantime they have to be moderated, which means several other teachers have to check my marking, and that will have to be done in between lessons and everything else this week. This is just one of my folders. I then got a secondary folder where all of my A-level work is contained.
This is the workload of a teacher. He doesn't want to be identified, but he wants to highlight that, like many of his colleagues, he's struggling with stress, poor mental health and burnout.
Tough days are where you want to cry in the classroom, but you can't. And if you do, you know it's probably going to be judged or mocked by the students. And I think I've seen more staff cry, male and female, new and old teachers, than I've ever seen in my career.
Due to the disruption caused by the pandemic, GCSE and A-level exams have been scrapped in England this summer and replaced with teacher-assessed grades.
OK, so Year 13, we've got biology, economics and physics. OK, good luck everyone, you may begin.
Schools have been setting mini-exams to help them decide which grades to award students. Tom Rogers is a history teacher and says an unmanageable workload has been shifted onto teachers.
When that announcement came, a lot of schools had to then internalise the things that they had to do. They had to create papers, they had to create mark schemes, they had to think about how they were going to standardise assessments for Year 11, how they were going to invigilate those assessments, what the rules of those assessments were going to be, the logistics, the grade boundaries, how the appeals process for those exams would work. Much of that would have been done by exam boards and exam markers and Ofqual and so on before this happened, but it's all been placed onto schools to do and individual teachers to do for no more pay.
Ofqual, the exam regulator for England, says in the space of just a few months, exam boards have helped to design and implement an entirely new assessment system. Last year, the exam boards gave schools and colleges a rebate after exams were cancelled by the government. They have said they will not profit from the cancellation of exams this year.
This is the staff room space where we all come to vent. Well, normally the first thing is there's a bit of a rave about who's left the kettle empty. That's normally the first thing. And then normally someone responds with, have you seen that email? That's normally the next thing.
Charlotte has been teaching A-level English and sociology for 10 years.
It feels as though you're doing this blindfolded, running through hoops that are set on fire and hoping to survive at the end of it whilst carrying a bundle of kittens.
The pandemic has had an impact on every area of education, not just exams. Lockdown, remote learning and now catch-up have put an increasing strain on teachers.
There is, I don't believe, another profession that has undergone such a change as teaching has, and with the battering that we've received in the process, there could have been some form of assessment that was run by the awarding bodies. You could have done one paper. You could have halved the workload of our teaching staff by saying that one paper will still be run and it will have a significant impact.
The deadline for teacher-assessed grades is fast approaching. There are no guarantees about the future of next year's exams, but with challenging demands on workload and well-being, these teachers want lessons to be learnt to ensure the system doesn't fail them.
Elaine Dunkley reporting there.